A familiar tension grips the Caribbean. Reports confirm Russian military cargo planes have touched down, a shadow over the region. Landing in Venezuela, their cargo is believed to be missile weapons and radar defense systems. This is not distant news. It is a direct signal, a calculated military strategy set to reshape power in the West. For the first time in decades, Moscow is projecting hard military power directly into America's backyard. Venezuela is the chosen ground, a potential launchpad for their weapons. The question is stark. How far will this go, and what will it mean for the global balance of power between Russia and the West? The current standoff ignited earlier this month. A U.S. Navy strike, a vessel destroyed. The official reason? A smuggling vessel off the Venezuelan coast. There were casualties. The response was immediate, coming within hours. Russia's condemnation was swift, calling it a violation of sovereignty. Reports state the Kremlin accused Washington of intentionally stoking instability. They warned of severe consequences if these actions persisted. In response, Russia offered to reinforce Venezuela's national defense posture. Anadolu agency reports confirmed the pledge. Moscow offered military assistance to Caracas, vowing to protect its territorial integrity. This sparked immediate speculation. Advanced missile systems would soon follow. For Russia, this is more than Venezuela. It is about geography. It is about strategy. Securing a military foothold there gives Moscow an asset unseen since the Cuban Missile Crisis, a forward base within striking distance of American soil. The signal is powerful and direct. If the West pressures Russia's borders, Moscow will now respond in kind near America's own shores. This is not the first time Russian military hardware has reached Venezuelan soil. In 2018, two 160 nuclear-capable bombers arrived for joint exercises. Since that day, defense cooperation has only deepened, but this time feels different. If missiles are deployed, this symbolic partnership transforms into a direct element of modern warfare, into a strategic confrontation. For Washington, the implications are severe. The United States has long considered the Western Hemisphere its domain, its sphere of influence. Now, a Russian missile presence, just hours away by air, threatens to bring that entire assumption crashing down. If Moscow deploys missiles, regional deterrence dynamics shift instantly. War analysis suggests systems like the Iskander-M could be part of the new defense posture. Or Caliber cruise missiles may be included, with operational ranges between 500 and 2,500 kilometers. These are serious weapons. They would easily cover U.S. bases in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even southern Florida. This puts key American military installations directly at risk. MacDill Air Force Base in Florida, for example, could suddenly be in range of Russian firepower. Flight times for such weapons would be measured in mere minutes. This leaves Washington with virtually no warning time in a crisis. The national interest argues this deployment is Russia's direct, calculated answer. A direct answer to Western missile defense systems in Eastern Europe, mirroring American interceptors placed in Poland and Romania, which sit uncomfortably close to Russia's borders. Moscow can now position its own deterrent closer to U.S. shores. The strategic logic is clear. Balance one threat with another. Beyond the military implications, this move carries a deep psychological weight. For decades, the United States has enjoyed a unique sense of security from foreign missile threats within its own hemisphere. A Russian presence in Venezuela would shatter that comfort, forcing the Pentagon to shift its focus and valuable resources back toward the Caribbean. Moreover, the ripple effects would cascade across Latin America. Neighboring countries like Colombia and Brazil would be forced to reassess their defense postures. Smaller Caribbean states could be caught between two superpowers once more. The result is a revived sense of Cold War anxiety, a ghost of conflicts past. Only this time, it is seen through a 21st century lens. For Russia, even limited deployments of troops serve their purpose. They create leverage. Placing a loaded gun at America's doorstep gives Moscow immense leverage. This military strategy allows them to dictate terms on Ukraine, sanctions, and the entire stage of global conflict. Before Moscow's intervention, Venezuela's military power was a shadow of itself, decaying daily. Years of economic ruin and sanctions left its weapons obsolete. Though they held capable S-300 defense systems from Russia, their effectiveness was questionable. Poor maintenance meant these defense systems were barely operational. The nation's navy was starved of resources. Its air force flew at a fraction of its true strength. In essence, Venezuela's defense was localized, unable to project power or deter a major adversary. But the arrival of Russian modern weapons, these advanced missile systems, changes the entire equation of warfare. With advanced S-400 air defenses, mobile Pantsir-Sogne units, and Kaliber cruise missiles, Venezuela is being transformed. It's becoming one of the most heavily defended zones in the hemisphere. Its skies, monitored by Russian radar. Its coastlines, protected by anti-ship batteries, a direct threat to the U.S. Navy. Even with Russian troops controlling these weapons, the symbolism alone is powerful. For President Maduro, this is political lifeblood. It's the image of a sovereign state shielded by a global military power. For Moscow, it's a geopolitical victory, proving its influence can reach America's doorstep. However, the operational challenges remain immense. Maintaining this complex defense technology within a failing infrastructure is a logistical nightmare. Power instability, supply issues, and maintenance costs make long-term deployment a monumental task for any army. Still, if the Kremlin's war analysis deems the mission vital, those obstacles will not stop them. With each passing week, Venezuela edges closer to becoming something far greater than a nation crippled by sanctions. It is evolving into a forward operating base for Russian deterrence, a critical launch pad, not just for missiles, but for influence. A clear message is being sent. Russia is back in this hemisphere, and this was only the beginning.